Hi everyone, my name is Amber Stanley. I'm the Assistant Director of Calling and Career at Taylor University. Welcome to our online module on Odyssey planning. Now, so far in the modules that we've shared, we've unpacked the idea of design thinking, which is designing your way forward as opposed to mapping. So with gravity problems and non-negotiables in proper perspective, let's look ahead with some hope. It is time to Odyssey plan, and this is literally the best part. All right, so what is Odyssey planning? Here's what you need to know. It's super easy to get stuck on this idea that God has a calling for your life, and if you don't figure it out, you missed the boat, you messed up your life, you disappointed your parents, and generally failed. And that's just, it couldn't be any farther from the truth. There are so many good lives that you could lead. It's never too late to explore a new one. So if you think back to the iPhone illustration, remember that the versions just got better and better over time. I don't know about you, I'm personally on like version 7.0, so this just keeps going and going. When you start to think about it, how could there really be one best life? God's given each of us so much to work with, our strengths, our gifts, our personality, our interests, our experiences. If you take those components, my favorite way to think about those as if they're ingredients and we're cooking. So if you've got flour, baking soda, salt, sugar, water, and they're sitting on the counter, what can you make? You can make all sorts of things. You can make bread, you can make pie crust, you can make pizza dough, you can make cookies, but you can't make salad. So honor your ingredients and make whatever you want. An Odyssey plan is simply one example of using those ingredients, one example of a good life that you could live. So let's take a look at an Odyssey planning template. Okay, so notice what we're asking you to do is really consider the next 5 years of your life. So wherever you're at, go 5 years into the future. When you're thinking about what to put on your Odyssey plan, you're going to want to focus on academics. So where are you going to be in 5 years through your academic journey? What about professionally? If you're freshman, sophomore, you're going to get into your career within the next 5 years, which seems crazy, especially if you haven't even picked a major. So this feels like a lot, but approach it with curiosity, with creativity, and with hope. Also, you want to think about extracurriculars. What are some things in college you might want to engage in while you're at Taylor? And then also, if you're past that point and you're into your adulthood, then be thinking about other personal and extracurricular things like engagement with church or nonprofits or community work. So all of these things belong in your Odyssey plan. And then notice down at the bottom, there's an opportunity to give it a title. So what do you want to call this Odyssey plan? And you want to keep that title short. And then also you've got a section for resources. So notice there are 4 gauges. First of all, do I like it? Well, actually, first with resources, do you have what it takes to accomplish this plan? So are you set up to do the things that you're listing? Is it reasonable? Next, do I like it? Like, does this plan make me happy? That's a valid question. Next, what's my confidence that if I actually did this, it would happen? And then finally, coherence, which is basically authenticity. So if I lived this way, is this actually a version of the real me? Does this make sense of the ingredients on the counter? Or does this make sense of the ingredients my mom wishes were on the counter? These are important questions. So we want a plan that is authentically you. Let's take a look at a couple of examples of Odyssey plans. So first, I'd like for you to meet Alexa. Alexa is entering her junior year at Taylor University. She's a marketing student, and so during her junior year, she has plans to be a university marketing intern. She also wants to take a lighthouse trip and get involved with Air Band and Nostalgia Night. So that is going to be a busy and fun year. Going into her senior year, she's aiming for becoming a CCO intern. That's a legit goal. Also, she is hoping to take a spring break road trip, maybe run the Indy Mini, which are all great things. And notice in between her junior and senior year, she's pegged to try to get an internship with Ambassador. For her post-graduation year, she would love to have an internship with Hope International, possibly go somewhere with her family, learn to rock climb, and then she's hoping that internship's going to convert into a full-time position with Hope International. Hope is out in Pennsylvania, so she's got plans to move there, find some great roommates, read 50 books, so she's really going for it. and then finally run a full marathon. So she's doing some iterating here. And then by that point, she's a couple years past graduation. She's thinking she'll probably apply for an MBA. So this is Alexa's Odyssey plan. She's called this plan Taking Advantage of Great Opportunities. And notice at the bottom, she pretty much has all the resources she needs to make it happen. She really likes the plan. She's pretty confident she can make it happen, which is natural. And she also feels like, for the most part, this plan reflects her pretty well. So that is a great example of an Odyssey plan. Now, Alexa's been super artsy with her plan. If that's not you, that's okay. You don't have to feel like you have to have lots of drawings and whatever, but I think it helps to make it more fun. So I encourage you to give it a shot. Here's another example of an Odyssey plan. Meet Anne. Anne is a little bit older than Alexa. So Anne's had some time to really try some things out in her life. Once upon a time, Anne really liked working with kids, but instead she took the business route. So at this point in her life, she's kind of reflecting and thinking, maybe I'd like to try something new. So Anne has this plan to develop a 501c3 for kids. She's got a goal over the next 5 years to prototype the curriculum, to sort of scale that program, to evaluate the impact, and then has this goal of a certain number of kids served by her nonprofit. So you can see, even though Anne started out with this love for kids, though she went the business route, she's taking everything she's learned from business and applying it to this new plan to engage in the community, to have a positive impact on the kids in her neighborhood. Also, she sort of has this family vein to her plan. So she wants to take an anniversary trip to Italy. Her parents are getting older, so she's thinking about the fact that they may need to move somewhere where they can get care. Maybe that's a tiny house in the backyard, who can say? She also has some goals to work on a family tree project. And then she has some personal development goals. So Anne's hoping to go back to school. It'll take her a few years to finish. And after she graduates, if she does all the things on this plan, she will have so much information, she might as well just write a book. So she has entitled this plan, Using What I Know, Helping Kids. Now let's take a look at Anne's gauges. So from a resource standpoint, she's doing pretty well. She has most of the resources she needs to accomplish this plan. She likes the plan quite a bit. She's about as confident as Alexa is in regard to how much she believes she could actually do it. And as far as coherence, she feels like this is one example of a good life that she could lead. So those are just two examples of Odyssey plans for people in different points in their lives. So why does it matter, or why is it important to have 3 versions of your Odyssey plan, which is what we're about to ask you to do? Well, the reason is, basically, we want you to be thinking big about possibilities for your life. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to come up with 3? I barely have 1. That's why I'm listening to this module. No stress. If you have 3 completely different ideas, that's amazing. Write 3 totally different Odyssey plans. So you're going to join the circus, you're going to become a HR director, or you are going to become a secondary math teacher. So those are 3 totally different things. But if you don't have 3 completely different ideas, try this. Thing 1 is the life that you're in. So if someone asks you today, what are you going to do? This is the answer that comes most readily. That's thing 1. Thing 2 is the thing that you would do if thing 1 completely went away. So if you've always been planning, or if the thing that's on your mind right now is to become a business major and you want to go and you want to work at your family company, and that's your plan. Well, what happens if your parents decide they're going to sell the company and the family company is no longer? Now what are you going to do? That's thing 2. Thing 3 is really fun. This is your wild idea. Thing 3 is the thing that you would do if no one would make fun of you and money didn't matter. You're accessing sort of those deep inner ideas that you sort of squish down because they're not practical. Give yourself at least 1 Odyssey plan that incorporates some of that fun. So what we're looking for from you is thing 1, thing 2, and thing 3. 3 different Odyssey plans. Okay, feel ready for this? I think you're ready. Okay, here's your activity. I'd like for you to use the template that we've provided, just hash one out yourself on a piece of paper and create 3 Odyssey plans. Now, some components are going to show up in all 3 of your plans. So if you are attending Taylor University, obviously you're going to have to go through the years of school to get to graduation. So that's going to be on your plan regardless. You may have similar family goals that are on your plan. Whatever it is, that's fine. Those things can exist on all 3 plans. But I highly encourage you to consider 3 completely different ideas. So for example, becoming a graphic designer at one company versus becoming a graphic designer at another company is really just the same idea. So if you're interested in art, explore different venues for those particular skill sets. And follow the thing 1, thing 2, thing 3 approach. All right, you ready? Give this a shot, give it some time. Just give yourself some space to really dive into this. Reach back to those modules you've completed already in regard to considering who you are, the gifts that God's given you, as well as your non-negotiables, and incorporate all of those things into your Odyssey plans. That's why we did those first. So they've laid a great foundation for this process. Keep all of this, design thinking material together, so you've got this sort of cohesive, comprehensive view of this process that you've gone through. And don't lose it, because we're going to refer back to it in our next module. So good luck, everybody.